Hello everybody, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Today I would like to talk about this plant, commonly known as the China doll plant, and I will show you this plant in three totally different shapes. Now, why is this plant called China doll plant? If I take a wild guess, I'd say because it comes from China and because the leaves are as fragile and delicate as a porcelain doll. By the way, in Belgium these plants are dirt cheap. Look at that price. I paid €1.59 for a full pot at a local nursery. Now, this does look like a full pot because there's actually 4 different plants in there, although it's a little bit difficult to see. Now, this plant that I'm showing is actually a baby plant that I bought more or less 2 months ago, but this plant is actually a tree and can become quite tall. So now let me show you the second shape of this plant. And the plant that you see on the right is actually the same plant that I bought in August 2020 for I think €2.60. And I will also show you a picture of this second plant at the moment that it arrived at my place. And as you can see, it actually looked back then like the first plant that I have just shown you. Now, this may not be the easiest plant around, but in my opinion, if you follow a few basic rules, this plant will be just fine and grow to become a beautiful tree in your house. Now, let's have a closer look at the second version of the China doll. And let's start by looking at its roots. The first rule to follow is that this plant loves to be root bound and doesn't like being repotted at all. Now, I did repot it recently because there were actually more roots outside the pot than inside the pot. And it seems that it has survived the repotting just fine, no doubt reluctantly. Now, don't mind that sloth doing its morning gymnastics in its favorite tree, but look at that beautiful, delicate, almost fern-like foliage and all the new stems and new shoots that this plant keeps on sprouting. Now, this plant loves bright indirect light. Don't put it in full sun because the leaves will definitely burn. I keep mine under a grow light and that seems to be perfect for the China doll plant. Now, while I show you the third shape of this plant that I bought at IKEA in October of last year for I think €9, which is a bonsai form of the China doll plant, and it also has way bigger leaves, by the way, than the first 2 plants. Let me tell you what this plant has in common with the ficus plant family. They both hate change. And the punishment for change is that they will drop a lot of these gorgeous leaves that you can see. Now, what does this mean? 1, as I said, no repotting unless it's absolutely necessary. 2, if possible, no shipping, so it's better to pick up this plant at a local nursery, for instance. 3, don't put it near an open window or a door because they really hate drafts. 4, don't move the plant around, but keep it at the same place in your house once you have found a spot that the plant seems to like. And 5, keep a regular watering schedule. Water it when the top layer of the soil is dry, but never let it dry out completely. By the way, fun fact, I read somewhere that you can propagate these plants by stem cuttings, so I tried it. And this may seem like a sad premature baby, but when I lift this little pot, you can see that a real party is going on at the bottom. Look at that root that came out of the pond in which I kept this small baby. Now, as I said, this plant hates being repotted, but I think in these circumstances I will not have any other choice but to repot this baby. And anyway, it can only drop 1 leaf because it just has 1 leaf. That's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.